Hi there, Jonathan Deal here from 0 Points Down Academy in South Africa. In our last video, which was called The Paradox of Self-Defense, I asked that if you believe that for a firearms instructor to be of any use, he must come from a military or police background. Specifically, the question is it only Chuck Norris who can teach you to shoot? Now, firearms by their very nature are frequently surrounded by an element of macho. And where better to find this macho than amongst a group of male shooters? Some of them with real-life military and police experience in the field, not behind a desk. Others with no experience of killing someone else and no desire to gain that experience. And of course those who pretend that they have the proverbial ice water running through their veins. As a firearms instructor, it embarrasses me not even a little bit to tell you that I never killed anyone. Never had to pull a trigger to save a life, never looked down the barrel of an aggressor's gun, and nor faced any other deadly weapon at close quarters. I've also never been in a real fist fight, and the Spyderco knife that I carry is mostly used for opening parcels and cutting biltong. So in the tactical terms of brave soldiers and tough policemen, one could say that I'm a bit of a wimp. So then what gives me the right to call myself a firearms instructor? As the notion goes, how can I teach someone to use a gun to save a life if I've never even killed anyone before? Well, I'm convinced that it's all based on that paradox that I spoke to you about in the last video. You see, ordinary people, even if they aren't wimps, who in 2018 don't have access to the battlefield experience of professional soldiers, nor the tactical experience of active law enforcement officers in specialized units, must learn and practice their skills and gain their experience in the risk-free vacuum of paper targets, stopwatches and fanciful scenarios probably created by wimpy instructors and wannabe heroes. In short, they've got to gain their experience at the local shooting range. For these ordinary people, probably 99% of all gun owners, there are no real life or death combat moments. In effect, if they're focused on building shooting skills, they have to spend all of their time practicing for an event that they pray will never happen. But before we throw the common or garden variety instructor out because he's never killed anyone or because he can't beat another person into hospital with his bare hands, let's consider another critical skill that must actually be developed without doing it. Every day around the world, thousands of pilots, military and civilian alike, must practice in a simulator what they will do when their plane starts falling out of the sky. No real life experience for them either. And the pilot who successfully brought down a passenger plane on a New York waterway had probably never had an accident before. Yet he stepped up to the plate when he needed to, based on his training, probably from others who had also not crashed before. My closing point is thus simple. Is it asking too much to believe that a competent instructor who can't go toe-to-toe with Willis, Van Damme and Norris is capable of imparting to a student a set of skills that may, in a moment of mortal danger, be used to save a life with a gun? Can we accept that perhaps while we've been watching this video, somewhere in the world, an ordinary person trained by an ordinary but capable instructor has just used a gun to save a life? And finally, my advice is this. If your instructor is full of war stories, put him to the test of proof so that you can separate those who have done from those who just claim that they did. And don't forget that just like the instructor that teaches pilots how to crash, there's room for the instructor who teaches you to stay alive without Chuck Norris. Until next time.